Welcome to The Explainer. We're always told that to be productive, you've got to hustle, right? You've got to grind, push through the pain. But what if that's completely backward? Today, we're going to dive into some surprising science that says the real secret to getting more done isn't about working harder at all. It's actually about feeling better. All right, so to really get this, let's start with a story. Picture this. It's Christmas Day. A brand new junior doctor, his name is Ali Abdaal, is about to start his very first shift, completely alone on a busy hospital ward. And to say he's terrified would be an understatement. Yeah, those were the reassuring parting words from his supervising consultant. And what followed? Absolute chaos. We're talking cardiac arrests, patients losing their dentures, you name it. It was just this constant, overwhelming sense of pure panic. See, his whole life, Ali's go-to strategy was super simple. When things get tough, just work harder. I mean, that's what got him through the grind of medical school. But now, in the real world, with real lives on the line, that strategy was failing. Big time. He was on a fast track to complete and utter burnout. So this whole hustle harder thing just wasn't cutting it, and it made him think of something one of his old tutors used to say. If the treatment isn't working, you don't just give a bigger dose, you question the diagnosis. And that was a light bulb moment. He realized he had to question the diagnosis of productivity itself. Maybe the whole suffer now philosophy was just wrong. Could there be a better way? Well, all that questioning led him to this incredible revelation from psychology, one that totally flips the script on everything we think we know about success. Get this. It turns out feeling good isn't the reward you get after all the hard work. It's the thing that causes the good work in the first place. Seriously, we've had the whole cause and effect thing completely backward. The myth we're all sold is achieve success, then you'll feel good. But the science? It shows the exact opposite. When you feel good first, that's when you're way more likely to succeed. Okay, to see how this actually works in our brains, let's talk about a classic psychology experiment. It's called the candle problem. So imagine I put you in a room. On the wall, there's a corkboard. And on the table in front of you, I give you just three things: a candle, a book of matches, and a box that's full of thumbtacks. So here's your task. You need to attach that candle to the corkboard wall in a way that, when you light it, the wax won't drip down onto the table. How would you do it? Now take a second to think about it. Most people immediately try to, tack the candle itself to the wall, which, as you can probably guess, doesn't really work. The solution requires a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking. Literally. You have to see the thumbtack box not just as a container for the tacks, but as a potential tool. It can become a little shelf for the candle. Okay, but here's where it gets really, really interesting. When psychologists ran this test, they did something clever. They gave one group of participants a small bag of candy right before they started. Nothing major, just enough to put them in a slightly better mood. And the results? Whoa. That feel-good group was way more successful at solving the puzzle. Being in a positive mood literally opened up their minds and allowed them to see more creative possibilities. So, this kind of research is the bedrock for this whole new way of thinking, this framework for feel-good productivity. And it's built on the idea that we can intentionally create these positive feelings using three core concepts, which are called energizers. They are play, power, and people. All right, let's kick things off with the first energizer, play. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean you have to start goofing off at your desk or playing video games all day. It's actually a strategy. It's about finding ways to inject a sense of fun or curiosity or maybe even a little adventure into the things you already have to do, especially the boring stuff. You know who was a master at this? Mary Poppins. Her secret wasn't really magic. It was psychology. She knew that pretty much any job, no matter how tedious, has some element of fun hidden inside it. And when you find that fun, snap, the job becomes a game. So here's a really simple but crazy powerful way to do this yourself. For any task you're dreading, just grab a Post-it note and ask yourself one question. What would this look like if it were fun? When Ali, our doctor from the beginning, was dreading studying biochemistry, he asked himself that. His answer? Well, it'd be more fun if it felt epic. So he put on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack while he studied, and it totally transformed the experience. Okay, moving on to our second energizer, which is power. And this is all about getting back a feeling of control, a sense of autonomy over your own work, and, well, your own life.
And just to be super clear, we're not talking about having power over other people here. This is about personal empowerment. It's that internal feeling that you are the one steering your own ship, that the choices you make are actually yours.
So how do you tap into that? Well, one cool trick is to think of it like flipping a confidence switch. Whenever you feel that self-doubt creeping in before a big task, just pause and ask yourself, what would this look like if I were genuinely confident right now? Just asking that question can change everything: your posture, your mindset, your performance. You start to act as if you're confident, and pretty soon, you actually become it. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so having that internal sense of power is huge, but it's not the whole picture, and that brings us to our third and final energizer: people. Because let's face it, we're social animals, and our interactions with other people can either be this incredible source of energy or a total drain. There's actually a scientific term for this. It's called relational energy. And you totally know this feeling. Some people you talk to, they just light you up. You walk away feeling optimistic, ready to take on the world. And then there are others. You might call them energy vampires, who do the exact opposite. The whole goal here is to get more of those first kinds of interactions in your life.
And a really powerful way to do that is to shift from a competitor mindset to a comrade mindset. So instead of seeing work as this zero-sum game where if you win, I lose, you start seeing your peers as being on the same team. And the research on this is amazing. When people feel like they're working together, even if they're on totally separate tasks, their motivation just skyrockets. It turns out we really do rise by lifting others up.
All right, so we've gone through play, power, and people. What does this all add up to? What's the big takeaway here? How do we wrap this up into a whole new philosophy for how we work? Really, it all boils down to this one simple idea. Forget the myth that you have to suffer to succeed. The truth, and science backs this up, is that positive emotions are the fuel for success. And the best part is, we can create that fuel on purpose. We can do it by finding the fun, by taking ownership, and by building those awesome, energizing connections with people. I mean, this idea right here captures the entire shift in thinking. For way too long, we've been treating happiness and feeling good like it's the finish line, right? It's the prize you get after you've done all the hard, miserable work. But that's not it at all. The truth is that feeling good is the starting line. It's the engine. It's the fuel that powers everything else. So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if feeling good isn't the reward for your hard work, but the actual starting point? Because when you start focusing on what truly energizes you by using play, power, and people, you don't just get more productive. You actually create this amazing, sustainable, upward spiral of positivity and achievement that could change not just the way you work, but maybe the way you live your entire life.